Hey friends, Terry Runyan here, visual artist and creative encourager. And today I'm here to talk to you about sharing your work, sharing your art, sharing yourself on video. Whatever it is you're enjoying or being inclined to do, this is what I'm talking about here. It could be sharing your writing, sharing your photography, sharing in general. And another way I like to look at this sharing thing is as an act of giving. It is something that moves through us and we create and then we let it move through and we share it with others, we give it to others, we find joy and connection and beauty in sharing and giving to others what it is we're creating. And this in and of itself is an amazing reason to share your work. It could be in the process of sharing your work that you build a following on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. But that isn't the driving reason for sharing our work. It's a possible benefit of sharing the work. The sharing itself, the giving of what it is you're doing to everyone, the world, is an amazing thing to do just in and of itself, because you're reaching so many people who may be inspired by or encouraged by what you share. It may help them smile more in their day. People have so many ways of responding to what you share. Even if somebody chuckles at something, to me that's like so cool that someone enjoyed something that I did, that it made them laugh, or they share it with a friend and it makes them laugh. So this idea of sharing, it's not for the purpose of getting something in return. And that's a biggie, because I think a lot of us think we have to share. We have this sense of pressure over having to share. And this to me is one of the ways we can kind of pen up our creativity. It kind of stops our creativity because there's a certain amount of stress behind it. There's a certain amount of, I have to do this. There's a certain amount of expectations. And expectations and trying to prove ourselves tends to keep us distracted from what's actually going on in the creative process. And that is being present and in a giving mode. It's like it's giving through you. It could be that in your sharing process, you reach a lot of people and maybe people follow you or subscribe to your channel. But the purpose of sharing is the joy of sharing. It is the act of giving that just feels awesome. So I hope that's clear. If it's not, I'd love for you to comment down below and give your point of view on this sharing thing. And today I'm going to share my process of creating a piece for the Daily Creating Group prompt, Carnival. And I will link to the Daily Creating Group below. I'd love for you to join. And so, as typical, I'm gonna mess with a cat on this, and I'll show you the drawing I've already created right now. So that's my drawing. It is very rough, as you can see. And I have some research up here from Pinterest of all kinds of different carnival clothing and different things like that. And I bring this up just to kind of trigger the imagination. But I really don't follow per se. I don't try to duplicate or copy or do anything around trying to make it look like something I'm seeing. I have the drawing as just a rough layout of what might happen, but as it happens, it starts to flow and do its own thing, and I'm responding to what's going on the paper as I go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that, and we'll see what happens. So as you can see, I've added another character. I didn't know this character was going to show up, but there it was, and it's pretty typical of me to add in a friend when I'm doing a painting or a piece of art of any sort. I'm going to go ahead and give this painting a little dry, and then I'll start back in. Okay, I have most of the watercolor taken care of here, and I'm starting to do the details. And I have some thinking coming up while I'm creating this that is saying things like, this is way too messy, you have no control over your watercolor and all that stuff. And the cool part about this is that I used to really let this stop me from continuing. I would just feel like I need to start over or really get messy and just paint the whole thing out. And now I realize that I can just keep going and see what happens, or I don't have to pay attention to that thinking. The really cool part about this is that I can share this with you guys as it happens. I'm doing this in real time. I'm being very transparent about what's going on. And this is really cool that I can share this with you guys, because it could be that somebody out there thinks that I just never have a negative thought, or I don't struggle at all with my illustrations. It just flows out. And the fact of the matter is, like all human beings, I have stuff come up that kind of tries to waylay me or somehow distract me from what I'm doing. And this, I don't think, ever really stops in life. But what does happen is we get a bigger view of what's actually going on. We can start to get a sense of who we truly are, and that these thoughts that float through, these judgments, these ideas about the way things should be, can just float on by, and we don't have to give them any attention or identify with them or think we need to do anything about them. So this is part of what I share here on my channel. I enjoy being able to show you guys how this creative process works, including all the hiccups and bumps and bruises along the way. This is what I hope will get through to you as you move along with your artwork. When those thoughts and things come up that seem like they have something true to say to you about your art, some sort of judgment, you can notice those and not give them any attention. You can let them float on by and continue on with what you're doing. So that's my sharing around that. I'm going to get back to this cat and mouse. Okay, I'm all done with this Carnival cat and mouse, and I enjoyed the process and I really enjoyed sharing it with you. This is the part that is really amazing to me, that I can play with my art and videotape myself talking about what's going on and have such a good time knowing that I'm giving what's coming to me and that it might be helpful to someone or it might be inspiring or encouraging. And this is, I mean, what is life for, right? It's so cool to be able to do this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. I'd love for you to share it around. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon.